I'm going to kick off to something, not even so much kick off. I'm going to respond to somebody who let me bring this in context, guys. Yeah, I love my Talk Sport. I listen to Talk Sport, daily. I listen to their responses. I like listening to Simon Jordan because he keeps it real. He keeps 100. He gives a very great owner's perspective of football club and how he feels about footballers. And I enjoy his responses. I have to say, I back him. Yo, he's on it. A few weeks ago, I wasn't impressed with what he said with Carlton Palmer in the studio. Wasn't impressed at all. People can say, "Oh, why you weren't impressed?" But I wasn't impressed because he's referring to that racism, some historical thing. Yeah. So I kicked off with the guys. I was down, I lost a couple people in my life. And I thought, I just need to get a breakaway, go on my birthday breakaway. Now I got being highlighted by my boy Skipper. He highlighted in a football group for the station, RVM podcast group. He highlighted something that happened today, what Simon said. Now I'm going to respond to this, guys, because I want to be in context, because the RFU is now after so many years is now apologizing for some of the racial things that slurs were given. So I want to give the context, and you're going to build this up and record this, because some of these things get slided over, but we're going to put this on YouTube and put this on a platform so you guys can hear and respond to it yourself and hear my response, and you can critique my response. Yeah? So let me see if this works out now.
Did that interview live earlier on in the week. We heard from Martin O'Fire, of course, an extremely gifted rugby player, both at union and league level. And Martin was talking about this and giving us his reaction to the Burrell situation. Now, Martin O'Fire has shared this with us today, and it gives you a rough idea that just how acutely people are listening, not only to this show, but to what goes on within it. And Martin Simon got contacted by one of our listeners yesterday, who contacted Martin and said, "Listen, Martin O'Fire, when you played for Widnes, I can remember being part of a large group that was pretty racist towards you. It's something I'd forgotten about until I heard your interview today on Talk Sport. It made me look back and into myself somewhat, and why I behaved that way all that time ago." And he says it definitely wasn't banter, and I apologise. He said that I've never ever repeated the behaviour, but it's made me think again. Thanks for doing the interview on TalkSport today and reminding me that I owed you an apology. And here's your apology.
And that's what I'm talking about. Rather than Luther coming out and I wouldn't say grassing people up, but giving names and forcing people to take accountability for what they've done, because they might not know it. Now they're thinking about it. It'd be refreshing for one of them players to say, you know what, I thought it was banter. We had loads of different cracks in the changing room. I didn't realise this was affecting the black players, and I want to apologise. And I think if a player come out and did that, he would be looked upon in a different light, rather than Luther.
So, guys, if you're thinking, who is that guy that's talking? And that was Trevor Sinclair, who is a dual heritage guy, but black man, brother man, he's a brother. But anyway, so yeah, but he is responding how he feels about it, which is fair play. Maybe I would probably go a bit more violent, but that's fair play. At least people come to their own convictions and actually apologize for being in or around that environment, or if they implemented themselves.
Out and
that's a good point. And in an ideal world, that would happen.
And now this posh dude here is going to be Simon Jordan. Sorry, not posh dude. This well-spoken brother.
In another world where...
But it has just happened.
Yeah, that's great. And here's an example of an ideal world where it has happened. In another world where the majority of people in that dressing room aren't racist and then will be tarred by the same brush of the people
I don't like that world either.
Is a challenging one as well. Because I want racism removed like the next sane-minded person. I want it pointed at, I want it identified, and I want people accountable for it. And if it runs from the bottom of an organisation to the top of an organisation, then the accusation of institutional racism is absolutely right and appropriate. What I don't want is people suggesting a culture exists inside an environment, and then everybody, as a result of it, that has done nothing wrong, has to suffer the tag, has to go on diversity and equality courses that they may not want to go on or need to go on because they don't have that mindset that needs to be educated, which, by the way, is an expression I loathe. It's not about education, it's about being made more aware.
Okay, right, I'm going to pause this here, guys, because I feel that he's going a bit too far. So Simon Jordan is trying to say So I wanted to be kept in pressing pause because he's just absolutely annoying me 100% still. Yeah. Now, if you are in the room watching somebody get stabbed to death and you walk away like nothing happened, for us concerned, you're party to the crime. Do you know how many black people and a lot of people out there still, yeah, but we deal with joint enterprise has taken away so many black men out of our community for apparently being associated to the crime. So when you want to draw that cord out on our gangs and all our when I say our gangs, but our group of young black men or older black men, I've seen black men just drop off the friend and the next minute they're getting locked up for 10, 15 years for the crime of somebody who they just dropped off and they didn't know where they was dropping off them. So when you are in the room, when the children were next to the boys that used to call me the N-word at school and they laughed with them, or to just there sitting down there and watch them say that in front of 30 other young men in the room and watch them still, yeah? Oh, it wasn't me. So I'm not, so why couldn't they stand up? Why couldn't they say, hey, brother, as being part of the power group in the room, the dynamics, I was the only black guy in my year. Full stop. And in the end of the day, so yeah, I even been around white guys who actually, when I was in my year, would say, hey, don't call him that. You know what I'm saying? They'll stand up, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, respect. But if you're in a room watching a brother get mashed up by racism, sorry, you need to apologize for not standing up for it. You gotta realize that you stand up for the crime that happened against that person. A few years later, that brother might commit suicide because of all the abuse he faced. And this is the reality show, is that people have not achieved what they should have been achieved because of the abuse and negativity that they faced at schools. So don't come off with, just because I didn't say nothing in the room doesn't mean I got nothing part of it. Sorry, I have had children laugh, watch, hear, in the earshot. Yeah, you all have a duty of care in a class. People could say I'm going a bit far, they're only children. But as far as I'm concerned, I've seen children from when I was in primary school stand up for each other. You stand up for each other when it's football, but you don't stand up for each other when it comes to race. Which is greater? It shows that you don't feel that race is an issue. So, okay, let me pull off that. And then to refer to the fact that basically education is not needed. Chief have to do awareness courses. Sorry, brother, you need to be fully aware about what has really happened in this world right now. Yes, so are you aware that the European countries did not discover North America and South America? They went over there to a land that was already ruled and taken care of, had their differences, have the different tribes by the Native Americans, and you committed genocide. Absolute genocide, and wiped out 90% of the land. You did not discover that land. So if you're taught in history, I've been taught in history in this country. I love history. I was a straight A student. I want to talk my GCSEs because it's dead boring afterwards. But I was a straight A student. I love history. And you know what I'm saying? When I read history, the narrative is that you civilized the Americas and you dragged a few slaves from Africa. And sorry, but either way, still, yeah, re-education is needed because if somebody said, Hitler killed a few Jews, you'll kick off, yeah, because he said, sorry, you're telling lies. Sorry, the whole education system is a lie when it comes to discovering of the world. Full stop, because the narrative is incorrect. Sorry, guys. Let me just.
It's a patronising term and often means I want to educate you to come round to my point of view. And if you don't come round to my point of view, I want you to educate yourself some more.
Sorry, it's not a point of view. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. Re-education needs to happen. About point of view. Is it point of view that they wiped out Libya? You know what I'm saying? And no one says nothing. You know what I'm saying? Now the country is totally mashed up in disarray. It's worse than what it was when you mash it up. But but Putin's an evil guy, and I don't agree with the war in Ukraine. Full stop. But Putin's so bad. But your US and France is cool for bombing and just wrecking out Libya, all because of the president turning around and said we need to use a different currency.
till you do. There is a context in every conversation. And I've just made an observation about ginger hair as a point of difference. I understand that there is a difference between colour of skin and colour of hair. Depends if you're on the receiving end of the abuse. But by definition, most things in life are about a point of difference.
You can't compare the colour of somebody's hair because
we live in a country.
We don't want to start going back in history and telling you why it's so relevant, why black people are offended so much by being called black. Because I don't remember 4 million red-haired people.
You do get called
If
black.
you let me speak, I don't remember 4 million people getting taken from Africa.
Let me correct you, bro. It's probably 3 million end up in the bottom of the ocean. It's more like 15 million, I believe. Black people got transported over into Africa, into the Americas.
Jesus, Trevor, that's 250 years ago.
But he's still in.
Okay, Jesus. Anyway, sorry.
We're living today now.
Simon.
We're living today now.
So,
we call black people because they're black, and that's the right way to address them, isn't it?
Correct, yeah.
Right.
But let's just not go away from the point. I can't remember 4 million people getting taken from their home and taken halfway across the ocean and become slaves without getting paid. So don't ever compare red-haired people to being racially abused.
No, you're missing my point.
No, I'm not missing your point.
Well, you don't know what my point is, so let me make my point.
You just made it about red-haired people getting abused.
I've talked about point of difference is often a reasons why people get ridiculed. Now, the exception is if you extrapolate it up to be about skin, then it becomes less of a point of a difference and more of a way to diminish somebody. And I get that entirely. But we cannot keep talking about what happened 250 years ago and put it into society today because it's not relevant today.
Okay, let me just stop him right there. Still, you. How can you say that something that happened 250 years isn't relevant today? Let me just say it out to the wider, because I am on a Christian station. Yeah. If the Bible, which is thousands of years ago, applicable to my life today, is historical discoveries that were made thousands of years ago, 1,000 years ago, the Iron Age, the Stone Age, all these are relevant for what we use today. I watch a lot of programs, a lot of what we eat, thanks to certain things that happen in the wars and stuff like that. So yeah, they discovered things that that applies and affects us to this very day. You know what I'm saying? So sorry, you cannot turn around, and I'll advise people because it's a very easy thing to get you down, man, and it is down to, for me, education. You cannot turn around and say it was 250 years ago, after you used us for 500 years ago, by the way, it just all kicked off. But the reality show is that you have got over 300 years of free labor out of a set of people who you transported without their will and left them to rot to this very day. And even on top of that, you can't even go there and say sorry. Just the other day, Congo can't even say sorry. So that's different. That's Africa. But that was disgraceful. But even our king and queen, our prince, went over to Jamaica and they can't even say sorry. Cannot say sorry. But own land in Jamaica. Anyway.
Of course, it might not be relevant to you, but it's relevant to a lot of people.
Just to simplify
that's a victim's complex,
what you were saying there,
I don't think it is a victim's
if the next
complex.
step in the Luther Burrell situation is, as Trevor was suggesting, one of those players in the proximity of Burrell,
then that's good,
was to lift the phone, Trevor, to Burrell and say, listen, I've been thinking long and hard about that. Just as happened with the fire there.
Yeah.
I've been thinking long and hard about that. I just want to say sorry to you. Now, Simon, the situation is, if someone else in that dressing room environment somehow gets caught up in it by association of being there on the same day, but did not say anything on that day to Burrell, I'm afraid that's a simple additional part of collateral damage, mate.
So
So based upon that standings there still, yeah? So joint enterprise, bro, what you're saying needs to be dashed out of law courts. If you upheld and you love off your England, you love off your Britain, joint enterprise needs to go now, yeah? Because ultimately what you're saying is, if I'm in the room not saying anything, maybe even giggling in the corner, going, just thinking along and whatever there's still, yeah? I'm not invoiced. So, it's I love the way that society selects when to send people to prison, when to accuse people, when to make them guilty. You're happy that the prisons are over 10 times likely to end up in prison. And joint enterprise is the biggest culprit within my community for taking too many black men out the system. I've seen it destroy mentally black men. I've seen it destroy families but you want to pick and choose? Sorry.
That's it,
and
Simon.
I agree, but there's also, it's easy for us to sit here and have that viewpoint, but by the same token, we've got the RFU coming out now, because the narrative will be peddled out, it's institutional racism, and the RFU are coming out and apologising for something they haven't done. This is what our Luther Burrell said. My mates
But why did the RFU
use
do that?
because they're cowards and they're frightened of the consequence of not being able to push back like people
Yeah.
are frightened.
Or
to turn
maybe
around and
they
say,
know
well,
there's the
that,
answer,
or
Simon.
maybe they know that there's a bit of an underlying problem within different clubs,
then they're-
as Luther would say.
Well, then they're
as Luther
institutionally
says.
racist.
But,
By
yeah,
that
but
definition.
Simon, we've just touched on an important point, and I'm with you completely on it. There would be collateral damage, but so be it. If someone else was involved in that dressing room with Burrell that day and didn't say anything to Burrell but was still there, he might get caught up in it, and I'm afraid that's just part of the
But
story.
then again, has said in the interview, I crossed the line. So at which point does crossing the line being a black man or crossing the line being a white man become bankrupt of moral turpitude on either side?
within the group.
You know what? I really believe, and Trevor may disagree with this, and lots of people will probably screaming down the phone, I really believe the terminology banter and stupid, childish, immature sports people not really understanding the consequences of what they're saying is vastly different from out-and-out racism.
And there
I
is
don't
an
suggest
element
it's
to that.
So what Simon is saying is basically you need educating, ultimately. So he just talked all that gas talk to say, if you don't know no better, you need to be educated. And you know when you've been educated and you realise that what you've done is wrong, what are your parents told you to do? It's to say, sorry, I didn't realise what I've done wrong. So it's about stinking time this society actually realise that basically I'm sick or tired of people looking at things retrospectively. You know what I'm saying? It happens to this very day. Today, black women are more likely to die in there because of the system being covertly racist. Black men and women are more. Listen, we represent Afro-Caribbeans, Africans, blacks represent no more than 3% of the population. Why do we, when I go to prisons, we are over 30% in there? Are we 10 times more of a criminal? No, we're not. So wake up. Modern day slavery is in your modern day racism is functioning right in your country. And you know what still, guys? UK, Europe, wealth, the beautiful buildings, the big houses that you see around us was built off free labor. I'm an Afro slave off my great-grandparents' back. And I'm still facing the garbage, the starting from 5 yards behind. And I'm not saying this is for everybody is thinking, because I really do feel there's awakening. But when I hear stuff like this on the radio, it solidifies the racial slurs that we get. You know what I mean? All the time. You know, when we're playing football, it makes them feel like, oh, we don't see no racism. I am dealing with ignorance. And ignorance can only be broken by education. So I'm responding. People can say, why are you so annoyed? Why are you so angry? Why? Because when you faced it all your life and you got sons coming through and you're sweating, that the one chance in life can be taken away by one mistake, while other people that they grow up with have 10 chances. Sorry, I am not going to accept this. That was my life. That's my life. So why should my son, if you say, oh, it's our country, we should be cool about it. Sorry, if it wasn't for black people, this place would be a different place. Not only through slavery, but also when we came over here in Windrush. When we took our far south, listened to the lies that you told us to come and help you. You just wanted us to be your slaves again, right in this country, working for nothing. But you know what? Some of us are really broken through the barriers and whatsoever. But sorry, we can't forget that the system is still against us. And this is the reality show, is that people have to apologize. When you realize you've done something wrong, when you realize you watch somebody get murdered and he didn't realize, when you have to realize that young black person, that young black person at school that you was watching them get abused is suicidal right now. You know what I'm saying? Who is stuck on alcohol, going to the door in a vicious cycle because they're just stuck. They have a lack of identity. They're ashamed of what they see in the mirror. Sorry, guys. No. Sorry. You have to realize the damage that you cause. And my friend sent me something, you know, a whole list of stuff, you know what I mean, are things which are socially acceptable, racism, things like, you know, following black people around shops, you know what I mean? It happened to my wife just the other day, you know what I'm saying? You know, it's absolutely crazy. I've talked about the incarceration of black people way more, 10 times more than everybody else, not believing the experiences of black people, telling us to be quiet and not shutting up yourself and listening to us out there still, yeah? You know what I'm saying? Prioritizing the voice and experiences of white people. Sorry. So we have to be careful because the white person, I've had it in the meeting the other day where they said, no, Roger, you need, no, shut, brother, stop telling me what to feel. I'm telling you how I feel. You know what I'm saying? Also, you got here cultural appropriation. You know what I'm saying? You want to thief our things and make money from it. Music. The whole shebang of music. Popular music is black music. Don't get it twisted. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? High mortality rates for BMA people. Everyone, black people, always sick. Why are we always 5 times likely to be sick? What in anything, kidney disease, diabetes, all these different things, you know, and it was like, oh, yeah, you know what I'm saying? The stereotyping of us, you know what I'm saying? You know, seeing being British being great. Sorry, I don't support England. I'm not, you know, I'm a British citizen. I am not English. Get it twisted. Get over it. And don't think I need to be gassed about being English. You're mad. No, it's not happening. It's not happening. Not happening, I call. It's rewarding the one black person that made it. So, and I'm talking also to the one black person that made it. To the one black person who made it, who forget where he come from. You know who I'm talking about here. Too many of us make it and enjoy being lifted up, come out the ghetto, big yard, big everything, and everybody brings up and says, look at our baby here, he can get through. And you forget where you come from. Listen, yo, this thing's real, guys. You know what I'm saying? You know, guys, I'm gonna kick off saying, you know what I mean? It's absolutely, you know what I mean? Guys, you know. But you know what, guys? You know, I just seen a comment put up on there still, you know, and we have to appreciate. I do have to send love to Simon Jordan as well, you know. You need educating, you know what I'm saying? I love, you know, we got love for you, you know what I'm saying? But you need educating, so you keep thinking that you don't need an awareness course. Yes, you need an awareness course, you know what I'm saying? I'm afraid, you know what I'm saying, guys, you know. But thanks for showing us your true heart and showing where you're at, and then really showing why. At the end of the Italian game, why black people got absolutely totally abused, and that's where it goes, because this country is still as racist as the people you say that are racist, like the Hungarians and stuff. It's just as racist. So this is where we at, man. Still anyway. So yeah, but I'm gonna play a track called PCB. This is how we do it. And if you need extra say about gospel music, black origin, and this just keep it real, people. Nothing but love, people.
Hi, and thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, you like, and you comment, and make sure that you're sharing the videos and watching so much more. We have loads of content for you. I hope you enjoy. See you soon.